Oh, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crossing the Axis podcast. This is our first episode. We have recorded some other stuff, but we have to figure out exactly what we're going to do with that in terms of releasing it. But anyways, welcome. And I have with me my wife and the other half of Crossing the Axis, Louisa. How are you?
I'm good. Hello, everybody. I hope there's someone listening, right?
Well, I don't know. It's like if a tree falls in the forest thing, like when no one's around. It's like if the podcast exists and no one listens to it, is it really a podcast?
That's a big question. That's what we're going to see.
That's exactly what we're going to explore in this episode. No, we're not talking about that. We're, as you can probably tell by the title of the episode, we're talking about the Batman. We've had many Batmans.
Bat.
But this is,
Bat.
yeah, Raw Bat, Bat and Bat, which is his true Batman name. So, we're going to talk a little bit first, trying to do no spoilers at all and just kind of give you our overview of what we thought of the film without getting into too much detail. And then we'll, at a certain point, we'll say, we're going to start spoilers.
Ahead.
So if you have not seen the movie from that point on, just maybe shut it off and then listen again once you've seen it.
Yep.
Okay.
That sounds good. So what did you think of... Oh, wait. I think before we say what we thought about the movie, it's very important to tell our backstory on the character.
What do you mean? Oh,
because
okay.
I am not a DC fan. I am not a Batman fan. I grew up with Justice League, like the cartoon version, and that was it.
Yeah.
I wasn't really a fan of Batman or anything like that. Yeah, so I went into the movie not expecting much. You know, some people said photography is good, the blah 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 is good, but I was like, yeah, I feel like it's gonna be 3 hours that I'm gonna sit and have fun and lose myself in the story, but that's gonna be it. You know, it's not gonna be I'm gonna be, oh my god, I care so much about this, or oh my god, I have no expectations. So I think that's important to say, and you have a different backstory with...
Yeah, well, first of all, let me just say, when you said backstory, I thought you were going to talk about your backstory with Robert Pattinson.
Sorry.
But no, yeah, so I do have a bit more, I don't know, interest in Batman, obviously. I watch a lot more comic book movies and stuff like that, and so I've seen, I don't know if have you seen all the Batman movies? There's
No.
There's I don't know, because there was 4 in the 80s and 90s, and then the 3 Christopher Nolan ones.
No. The only one I've seen, the only thing was the Justice League, the 3 hour...
The movie.
4 hour.
Oh, the Zack Snyder cut or whatever.
That's it. That's the only other Batman that I've seen.
You never saw Batman versus Superman or whatever?
No.
Okay, yeah, so I've seen a lot of Batman, and so, I don't know. It's a character that's been done a lot of times. So, you kind of have to, it's something that to make a new take on the character is maybe a little more difficult than some other characters. When the Iron Man movie came out, not very many people knew who Iron Man was. So they could make this movie and
be whatever they wanted to be.
Yeah, nobody's expecting anything. There's no one to compare it to. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. It would be weird to see somebody else in that role now because of that.
Yeah.
And so including the fact that when they made the Avengers game, it's not the movie lineup of people, and people were like, this is weird, I don't like it. So it's Batman is not that type of character. It's there's so many other takes, and everybody has their favorite Batman. And there's different, similar to Spider-Man, where it's different actors have different parts that are good and different parts that are bad. Christian Bale, I think his Bruce Wayne was really good. but I don't really like his Batman that much.
You don't like his voice.
Yeah, he's kind of like just, I don't know. He's a very small dude, and he's just growling away, and like, I don't know. The movies themselves are really great and stuff. I just don't love that one little tiny aspect of it kind of thing. And then, obviously, like, Michael Keaton is, like, there's all these different Batmans. And so that was the thing, where it's got all this history of, like, what will this version of the character
So
be?
what did you think about this version of the character? Robert Pattinson, it's okay, a tough one for you because
of
all the history there.
When I was younger, I obviously disliked Robert Pattinson because
of course,
disliking the Twilight movies.
It's the norm. You have to hate on Twilight.
Yeah.
You cannot say out loud, I'm a Twilight fan, because then people look at you and go like, are you crazy?
Mm-hmm. But obviously, since Twilight, Robert Pattinson has done a good job of showing that he's not just like, I don't know, a one-note actor. Yeah, like he's a really good, has a good range and can do a lot of different things. And so I was expecting that he could do a good job. And Matthew Reeves, like the director, made at least 2 out of 3 of the Planet of the Apes, like the new ones, not the one that has James Franco, the other 2, like the sequels, which I thought were amazingly good. Like I think that's an all-time great trilogy of films. Like there's not very many of them, especially in the modern age. Like, and that's one. And he like had a huge part in that. So I kind of was like on the side where I think it's going to be good, at least. Yeah, hopeful. And like before this, Ben Affleck was my favorite Batman, but now Robert Pattinson is my favorite Batman.
Okay, now you are on this side with me and you understand the love for Robert Pattinson.
I never disliked Robert Pattinson or anything.
No. I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying, like, because Robert Pattinson was, to me, so many years ago, like, with Twilight, who he's gonna be to you and, like, all the other guys that like Batman, and, like, this is so important for them. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna be a fun base for Robert Pattinson, like.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
So going back into the movie, what were your impressions on it?
So like my overall, just without getting into too much like spoilers or anything, my overall impressions was that it was a really good movie. Like in terms of Batman films, it is one of the better ones. The world that they created
feels so real.
Yeah, very real, but it still felt in a way like this is definitely a comic book universe where it's like, even I would say more so than like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. Like those movies felt real, but in a different way, where it was like, this is just like real Chicago, but there's a guy dressed in a bat costume and driving a tank or whatever. Whereas this felt like a real version of a comic book, more so kind of thing.
No, I get it. No, I agree. I think it's a very political movie, and a lot of people are gonna miss the point. Just like any...
A lot of movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying anything new. It really made me like the character. You know?
Character of Bruce Wayne Batman, kind of.
Yeah, because I didn't really like it to this point. It was the first time that I didn't see him as like an arrogant rich boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's always so like full of himself. Like, I'm fucking amazing. Can we curse on this?
Yeah, it's fine. Worst case, we can always bleep it out. But that's yeah. Sorry, continue.
And I don't like that. You have to be really likable to be that cocky, you know? And this, he has confidence, but it's not arrogance, you know? He doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He has, like, he doesn't care. He's just, like...
So something that this Batman has that's different... I don't know how... I shouldn't go into too much... I was going to say something, but... Okay. Well, do you have anything else you want to say before we go into spoilers and stuff? Like, I think we've given a good general review.
Yeah, I guess, like, go watch it. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, you can make up your own mind, obviously, but
for sure.
Definitely, if you've enjoyed, like I would say, if you like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, you won't be like disappointed by this. It's not exactly the same or anything, but I think it's good.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like Sin City in a way too. In that way of like it feels like
Almost
a comic
stylized.
book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because even like that's a little bit of a spoiler too.
Yeah.
So let's get into spoilers, I guess.
So yeah, from this point on, if you haven't seen
Spoilers!
the movie, you might be spoiled by things. So there's something I wanted to say that you.
Sorry.
So what you said before about this version of Batman, you actually liking the character instead. So because this is the first time that we've seen such a young Batman. This is only the second. He's like been 2 years or whatever, right? They say that in the movie. It's like, I've been doing this for 2 years, and Gordon says, like, I've known you for 2 years, and I still don't know who you are or whatever. So, it's interesting to see that, where it's basically, there's only 2 versions right now. Because in all the other Batmans, there's 3. Bruce Wayne and / Batman has, like, almost 3 personalities, per se. Because it's like, there's Batman, who is, in a way, like, almost his true self. Mm-hmm. And then there's like the Bruce Wayne who really is his true self, who he is with like Alfred, and that's it. And then there is Bruce Wayne, the philanthropist, playboy, millionaire, like the cocky, like...
Yeah. Okay, I get it. So basically what he does is like put on this fake personality so people don't associate him with the Batman.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that about the character, so I thought that wasn't a mask. I didn't think about the fact. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
And so that might be something that this version of the character might develop.
Yeah.
If they continue to make movies, because like...
Because that's not something explicit.
No. It's not. And
it's like character development.
For sure. Anyways, what were you saying that was going to be a spoiler?
Oh, I was going to say that like in the beginning when he's like narrating, when he starts to narrate and you can feel something in his voice that is like heavy and a dark soul that is dead inside, and we've seen so much and he's so good at that. And it just reminded me of like Sin City because it kind of starts like that too.
Yeah, it has a little bit of like Rorschach from Watchmen vibes, which is like Rorschach is kind of based a little bit on Batman, sort of. But yeah, I don't know. I think that there was a lot of interesting things where this movie felt to me the most true to what I know of Batman from like the comics and stuff. It was they did a lot of stuff that felt more accurate than a lot of other movies have done. Even though this Batman was like maybe more brutal, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like all the other Batmans straight up just murder all the time. Like, but people gave Ben Affleck's Batman a hard time about it, but it's like Michael Keaton put dynamite in a guy's pants and shoved him down a manhole and then it exploded. Like, you're telling me that guy survived? No, like...
Yeah, I remember watching that. Like, not watching the movie, but watching a GIF or something like that online. GIF or GIF? GIF.
You be the judge.
Hashtag GIF.
Put it in the comments below.
Do people still use hashtags? Is that a thing? I'm not cool with the kids,
well,
so
Twitter,
I don't know.
think, and Instagram. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm not hit with the times. Sorry.
Yeah, me neither. I'm an old lady. Oh well.
Yeah, I was talking about the killing of
Yeah, I've seen like GIFs online of that part, and it's like, yeah, for sure the guy died.
Yeah.
So
and
it's just in a funny way. So it's like a haha death.
No, for sure, exactly.
Right.
Those movies had a little more like levity to them. So yeah, it was. You could get away with that kind of stuff. And then, like, the Christian Bale Batman, it's like, they never show anybody dying, but there's times where things happen and you're like, okay, everybody didn't survive that. Like, Batman's not. And also, he kills Liam Neeson in the first one, where he's just like, I'm not going to save you. It's like, well, bro,
you're killing him.
That guy die. Like,
you're killing him. That's what it is.
What if a doctor was like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you? Okay, well, you kind of are killing me then.
You're not a doctor anymore now because there's a whole lawsuit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, watching the beginning of the movie felt so much like reading Midnight Sun.
The newest Twilight movie? Or
Yes.
book, I mean?
Yes. And I know, like, people are gonna hate me for saying that.
Because
like,
it's Edward talking to himself, basically, is why.
Comparing, like, those two.
But only that happens because he played Edward in a movie, and now when you read that book, you imagine him saying it. And
No.
Did he read the audiobook?
No, he didn't.
No, it wasn't.
I wish. Can you imagine his voice in my ears for, like, that long?
That wouldn't be good. Don't do that. I don't need you to have a reason to leave me.
Oh my God. I'm not gonna leave you for Robert Pattinson. Okay.
Let's see.
Okay, but as I was saying, it's not because when I read Midnight Sun, I wasn't expecting to, like, hear Robert Pattinson or anything like that. And I don't. I see Edward, like, the character. I just feel like the hatred, and I think that's why Robert Pattinson was such a good Edward. Like, I was reading that other book that she wrote it after about the curiosities and stuff. And she says that she gave Robert Pattinson a tiny portion of Midnight Sun at the time so he could read and, like, interpret it, Edward, in the way he should, basically. So what he was doing in the movies was exactly how Edward is. He's amazing for it. And I feel like it's the same here because he hates himself so much. It's like you can...
Well, yeah, in a way, he, like, almost blames himself for his parents' death.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
Yeah, but I guess it's in the same way that, like, kids will blame themselves for their parents' divorce and stuff like that. Like, that's not a completely, like, unrealistic thing. Like, could happen. It could easily happen to somebody. And then he didn't really have... Like, even though... That's one of the things in this movie. Even though Bruce Wayne had all the wealth in the world, he still didn't, like, have a good life. Like, he didn't grow up with the best support. Like, Alfred even said, like, I did my best, but it's like...
He's not father.
Yeah, I'm not what you needed me to be kind of thing. And he's created almost this... He kind of created the Batman in a way where it's like, by not helping Bruce deal with the feelings that he had and then teaching him to fight, it kind of pushed him to do this kind of stuff in a way. Like that, it's almost the inevitability of this person with all of these things lining up to put him in that place. So let's talk about different aspects. Like, I think, what do you think about, like, casting and everybody on their roles and stuff?
I wasn't expecting to like Kravitz. What's her name?
Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz. Because I don't like her that much. Okay. For some reason. I saw some, like, press stuff and I was like, I'm not that excited to watch this. But I do remember watching the character in, like, the TV cartoon stuff, and I feel like she does a pretty good job at it. So that was my only, like, worry going into the film, I guess. Not worried, like, I was like, I'm not gonna like her, but I did. I actually really liked the character. I think she has, like, something funny about it, like the way she moves a little bit. It's kind of like Harley Quinn a little bit, like a little bit, some crazy movements with her hips sometimes, and some details on the acting that actually makes a huge difference for the character.
Do you think how cat-like do you think she was? Do you think she was very cat-like?
No, I think she was the appropriate amount. She felt like a real person.
But do you think that's what those movements and stuff was, her being cat-like?
Yeah. Why? What did you think?
I thought, yeah, she was good. I thought she was great, yeah. Because, I don't know, there's different things. Like, Anne Hathaway as Catwoman was, like, it was fine. But that's, like, the weakest of the movies and whatever. There's other issues with that film. And then, obviously, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is just the best. but those movies are totally different. It's like a cartoon almost in some aspects, where it's like some of the stuff that happens. She literally falls out of a window, and then a bunch of cats come lick her, and then she's alive again. And I don't know, does she have 9 lives because she's Catwoman? I don't really know.
We don't ask questions.
Yeah, but and then they couldn't sell toys because of her outfit and how Penguin was gross or something. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I thought she was really good. I thought all the casting was really well, like, cast the whole movie. And
I can't believe, like, I didn't know that the Penguin was
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, until we got home and you said something about it, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's no way, no. It's so good.
Yeah.
They're definitely gonna win, like,
something.
Best makeup.
For sure. He was amazing, and yeah, the makeup and stuff was absolutely incredible. So he was unrecognizable in the role for sure. But yeah, like, I thought, even down to like having John Turturro as whatever, Falcone or whatever. I don't know. There was all these mobster names, and I can't keep them straight, but he was one of the mobsters. He was like the...
Yeah, no, you got it right.
And he just was the proper amount of, like...
Cartoonish?
Yeah, but not even cartoonish. I would say, like, the proper amount of, like slimy. You know? He was just, like...
The way he touched her and stuff?
Yeah, like, it was like... he was very... like you said earlier, it's like it was a very real feeling movie.
Yeah, like every character felt like a real person. Okay, so I feel like something that I said before is that people are going to interpret this very wrong. Some people.
Oh, the film?
Yeah. Like, I think it's so funny the timing that this happened, because with, like, maybe we shouldn't talk about this. With all the convoy thing here in Canada, you know, where people are like, oh, we're fighting for freedom. And then, like, there's all this mentality behind this movement that is very against Black people and stuff like that. And you see people going to these rallies and protests with, like, Nazi flags and saying that they were implanted by the government and that the government is building this thing and they are, like, manipulating everybody. And, like, yes, I get it. I think, like, we shouldn't trust our government, and we have to have in mind that, like, they're not 100% good, but they're not 100% bad either. And I feel like it really scares me, this mentality of, like, I hate the government is always bad.
Yeah,
I don't trust any politicians. All politicians are bad. Because then people go to extremes, like we see in the movie, you know? I feel like those people that we see in the movie in the end carrying those guns are the same people that would be right now in the convoys.
I get what you're saying, yeah. I think, like, obviously these politicians, though, were, like, straight up criminals, but
but, like, they did have that one mayor, and I know, like, what is one tiny mayor is gonna do in a system that is all broken, and that's how we feel here, right? But we have to put our faith somewhere and hope for better.
I think, though, like, in real life, comparatively with this movie, like, I think the government is less evil and more just, like, incompetent and stupid. And that's, like, most of the shit, when they do something you don't like, it's not always because they're greedy. It's often because they're dumb. Yeah, like, and that's not, like, just a cop-out for them. Yes, there is greed, and yes, there is, like, like, corruption and stuff like that.
Oh, boy, I know a lot about corruption.
But there's also a lot of stupidity and incompetence. Whereas, like, yes, in this movie, like, no, everybody was basically just, like, evil. Like, they were all corrupt, like, or they were coerced by
the system.
Yeah, but it's like,
But I feel like
Gotham is an extremely twisted version of reality. Like, it's not, it's like everybody's like the most greedy and the most evil, which, yes, there is evil and greed in the real world as well, but it's like, this is always like to the extreme level.
No, I understand. But still, like, there are always people that will stick to their values, you know? Like, the cop that was with Batman, like...
Oh, Gordon? Commissioner Gordon?
Gordon.
Well, he wasn't the commissioner in this. He was just something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how rankings work, but...
Yeah, so, like, he was a good cop, you know?
Yeah, but he was also... I guess he wasn't the only one, because at the end, with the mayor, like, there was a bunch of other...
That stood up.
Cops and stuff that were like, we're not gonna take it anymore. We're just like Twisted Sister in that way.
Yeah, and I feel like in the real world, it is really hard to go through the system without caving. You know what I mean?
Well, part of the thing is like the way that the system works. So in order to get elected, you basically have to
be popular.
Well, yeah, you have to be popular, and you have to spend a lot of money to like do campaigns and stuff. So then where do you get that money from? So that's what ends up happening is politicians end up like taking money from somebody, and then once they take that money, now it's like that person's like, well, dude, I gave you all that money, you should sign this bill in favor of what I want, so that like like let me dump my oil in the lake, like limit the regulations and stuff, so that I can make more money because I gave you that money, remember? So it's like, that is what kind of ends up happening. And it's like just the way that the system works, and it needs to be broken down and changed like completely.
But sometimes it's not even like that, because in that situation, the guy can only say, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, yeah, you gave me that money, but not, you just don't give me more money then. I'm not going to do that.
But that's the problem. They're scared of not getting more money.
Yeah, but the problem that I think it's when it's like, I have to do this, because if I don't do this, this bill that is very important is not going to pass. Because if this guy don't support my vote, and this guy being another politician, you know, not someone that they can just say no to. I feel like there's a lot of that in Brasilia. That's like Brazil's capital. So you see a lot of that, like good politicians that got corrupted, because the way to do politics now in Brazil is you have to be a little corrupted, you know? And it's just accepted in our culture. You know, it's just normal. Everybody just, you're a politician in one way or another. You're going to have to do these deals. They're not 100% ethic all the time. And I think the more we go towards that, the more we're going to end up like Gotham. Because I can see that totally happening. Yeah,
well, like that's the thing. It's beyond just like taking money from somebody to get elected and stuff. It was just like there was almost like John Turturro's character was like the godfather of all crime in Gotham kind of thing, and that's what was going down. And so he kind of manipulated everybody.
Yeah, but it's funny, they put all of that as if he was the only problem. Like we all work for him. He is. Yeah. But it's not. It's the whole system is broken. It's not just one person. It's not like when you take one down and everything is fixed. Yeah. Something else that I was going to say about like how the world feels real that I forgot to say earlier was that it feels real because Batman feels like a real person too. He doesn't feel like a superhero. He doesn't have extra strength, and you can see the strength that he's doing to like pull up the stunts and stuff like that. There's one shot that he's pulling two guys in a rope or something, and you can see his body doing all the movement to like actually pull two bodies of like 100 kilos each. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you can see that. I don't know, I really like that. It was the first time that I saw that. You don't see that in like Justice League or whatever. Well, and I don't know how it is in the Christian Bale one because I didn't watch it. So
Christian Bale learned from ninjas in the mountains how to fight. Well, That's not even a joke. Like, that's
Oh my god.
the first Batman movie. Batman Begins. He goes to the mountains and learns from ninjas how to fight. And Liam Neeson is like the leader of the ninjas.
The white guy.
Yeah.
I see.
But also, so Ben Affleck, there's a scene of him training in Batman versus Superman, and he's like doing some crazy CrossFit shit, and it's like, it's believable that he is the size that he is, and it just looked like probably the workout that he did to get as jacked as he did. But it's just like, it's a different way than this. That's like almost showing off. Like, it's like how Zack Snyder likes to do that. Like 300 is all these like muscly shirtless men, and it was like, it's kind of like almost that type of a thing. Whereas this, it was, yes, there are gratuitous shirtless shots of him flexing his back muscles and stuff while moving the table or whatever, but it wasn't in the same way. It felt more real, like you said.
Because it wasn't, I feel like it wasn't a hot shot of him. It was a shot to show character development too, because it was to show his scars and stuff like that. It wasn't gratuitous, I don't think.
No, there was I'm talking about a different shot.
There's two shots, yes. But they're pretty much the same.
They are.
He's not being hot in that shot.
No, it's not like the stereotypical superhero shot, like when they have Thor in the hot tub or whatever.
No, and he's not even that buffed, which I really liked.
But I also did like something. There was one of my favorite parts, and this is just like a tiny little thing, and it's kind of dumb, but I just thought it was hilarious, and it makes so much sense. There was like a thug looking around or something, and he had a gun and a flashlight, but the flashlight was just his phone, and he just like turned on his phone flashlight, and it's like, yeah, it's true. Why would a thug actually carry around a flashlight? Everybody's got a phone nowadays. He just turned that on, and he was like, smart.
That's funny.
Okay, so let's talk about now the villain of the movie, like the Riddler. So, what are your thoughts on this version of the Riddler?
That's the only version I know.
Oh, you never saw the Jim Carrey version?
No, I've never seen anything else, honey.
You never even seen like clips or anything of Jim Carrey as the Riddler?
I mean, I've seen clips. I just always thought it was just like
an SNL skit or something?
Yeah, like, no, I didn't think it was actually that. I just always thought it was dumb. I think that's why...
You were right about that.
I think that's why I never got into superheroes before. It was because it was too much for kids. But now those kids are grown-ups. So they're making grown-ups content with superheroes.
That's true.
So now I like it.
It's funny what you said about how this movie made you like the character of Batman more or whatever. That's kind of the way that Man of Steel happened for me for Superman, where I didn't like Superman, and then when I saw Man of Steel, it like made me have a different appreciation for the character in a way.
I didn't watch it.
That's fine.
So I can't say much. The only thing about Superman that I remember watching and liking it was Smallville. That's my Superman.
Smallville was on for a long time, but they always were like, it was almost like they were like told by Warner Brothers, like, you can't actually put him in a Superman suit on screen.
Oh, I didn't watch that much. I watched because back then you didn't have internet to catch up, right?
Yeah, if you missed this episode.
Yeah. I feel so old. Yeah, so you would come up on weekends, but I didn't watch it consistently. Something that I feel like I didn't say right before was that I like how it's all his fault, Batman.
What do you mean it's all his fault?
His actions were what made everything happen after that.
Like if he wouldn't have been trying to solve the crime.
No, before that, the movie shows that in so many different ways. Like at the end, the guy is saying, "I'm vengeance," and completely missing the point of Batman, of what Batman is trying to do. And the same with the beginning when he's saving the guy's life, and the guy's like, "Please don't hurt me." He's super afraid of him. And he starts the movie talking about fear and how he learned to use fear, because when they see the stuff and blah blah, the sign on the sky and blah blah blah, And that's the point of the movie. It's about how he realizes that people of Gotham cannot fear him. The bad people of Gotham have to fear him.
Yeah.
Not just citizens of Gotham. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted... So I just thought that that's what I meant about the convoy before. It was that, like, sometimes the beginning can be something pure, or not pure, but ideas get distorted.
For sure.
A lot.
Yeah. So anyways, we were talking about...
The villain.
And you have never seen any others. So that's...
No.
What do you think about Paul Dano in this role?
I really like it. He has a thing playing this type of character that it's like mentally broken characters really well. And he, again, as I said, feels very real, you know?
For sure. It reminded me too a lot of like Zodiac or like Seven.
Yep.
In that, like, the whole movie kind of reminded me a little bit of Seven in the like the feeling of it in a way where it's like this like puzzle, yeah, they're trying to solve, and it's like these two kind of detectives working together trying to solve this serial killer's puzzle kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in the end, like, Batman doesn't like fully win.
No.
It's not like a clear-cut victory.
No, there's
in the
no
sense
winning.
that he like stops everything. Like in The Dark Knight, Christian Bale like wins. It's like he captures the Joker and everybody's like good. There's probably a few casualties, but it's not like a big deal. And then like, but in this, it's like a lot darker of a. It's like there's no winning.
There's no hope
in war, almost like this kind of a war that's going on in the culture.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And there isn't. I think that's the point of everything, like an unfairness in society. There's no winnings. That's the point of like Hunger Games too. There's no winners. You know, there's survivors.
I liked them a lot. It was a very, like we've been talking about a lot throughout this whole podcast, it was a very real like portrayal. Like it's like also this version of the Riddler could kind of exist in like the Dark Knight universe as well, like the Christian Bale one, which that's something that people have like talked about a lot online or stuff, different versions of villains, what they would look like if they were in that universe and stuff. Like this Riddler could slot in there in a way. But yeah, like I really thought that it was a good, like you said, with the way that he rallied a few people, like enough people behind his cause. Like it's something that the internet has allowed for bad things to happen, because it's like, whatever, like things like the Flat Earth Society and stuff, and it's like that wouldn't happen 30 years ago, because it's so much harder for the people that all believe that stuff to like get together and find other people that believe the same thing as them. So the internet has allowed these type of small communities to kind of find each other and build and like allow like almost a rallying movement, and they can have,
it's what I said,
like 100 people can do some damage if they all get together in one place.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's what I said of like ideas get distorted, especially with the internet now, where everything is written. And people don't realize that, but a lot of language depends on intonation.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was seeing this woman trashing on Rihanna because she had her belly out, and she was like, "Oh, I can't have this being shoved on my face anymore." And I'm like, "Have you been hanging out with Rihanna much? Like, just keep scrolling, and then it's not gonna be shoved on your face. It's that easy." And she's like, because she didn't understand. the question of like, have you been hanging out with Rihanna? Maybe it was because she was like 50, 60 also. So she doesn't understand the internet maybe
Yeah,
that well.
I don't know, but I get what you're saying. It's hard to understand, like, there's no sarcasm. Like, it's not like if words are in italics, it means it's sarcasm or something like that. There's no... So words are very easily mistranslated on the internet. And, like, what the meaning behind the words, it can change to what the people hear. And it's also very, like, one-sided in a way where it's, like, people don't show their whole selves or whatever. They'll, like, show one version of themselves or whatever. Like, the Riddler wasn't showing his whole who he is. He was just being this, like, masked guy fucking with the system and, like...
I like what he says about, like, how when he has a mask, it's when he felt his true self out.
And more... Because he's more free.
More free. And I feel like that's a huge metaphor for, like, the internet in like, a total, because hiding behind being anonymous and like not knowing who this other person is, it's just words in a screen. You know, it's not a real person. There's no real feelings,
especially like Twitter or something where it's like you like Facebook, people, there are fake profiles and stuff, but more often it's like it's like their real name or whatever.
Yes.
But Twitter even is like less of that. It's just like whatever. People just have like
cartoons,
dumb names and
So like you can say and do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, like in the core of who we are as people. I think that's what makes a good person a good person. You're not a good person because you're afraid of the judgment or the punishment. You're a good person or the consequences. You're a good person and you don't do something bad for the other or for the next or whatever, because why? Yeah. I don't want anybody doing anything bad to me. Yeah. Why am I going to do it to someone else, right? And I really liked when he said that, because I can see lots of people are like that. I think we've been talking for a long time.
Yeah, we have, but it's just all goes to say that it's a really good movie.
It is.
Yeah, like overall everything was really good. Yeah, I don't know. I did have a thought, but I lost it now.
Sorry.
So no, it's all right. But anyways, did you have anything else you wanted to add? So like we never talked about this before. Do we want to like rate this? Is this some sort of a review rating thing, or are we just... I think we're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you listening would like, or watching or whatever, I guess if this is on YouTube, even though there's no like video, but if you're looking at a screen that we're talking out of, go down into the comments and let us know your thoughts if you've seen this movie. So that's a warning to anybody who hasn't seen this movie. There will probably be spoilers in the comments. I'm saying.
Yeah. Don't read
the comment section are going to be a spoiler thing. So if you, have thoughts on the movie, let me know. I would love to hear that kind of stuff down below.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited to see what people are going to say about like the politics of it too.
For sure.
I think that there's a lot to say there.
Yeah, and not only that, I'm also interested in what people think about how this version of Batman and this world of Gotham compares to maybe some of the other ones we've seen in other iterations of the characters.
Yeah.
So
sorry I couldn't give you more insights on
that's
that.
Right. Yeah, so if anybody has, obviously been more of a follower of Batman, I'd love to hear your thoughts and stuff like that as well. So, let me all know all that stuff down below, and we're going to try and do this weekly, right?
Yeah. Next week, we're going to talk probably about something else that we watched.
We've seen a couple of other movies recently that we're going to probably record some stuff on, so...
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's going to be Becoming Red. Is that the name?
Turning Red, I think it's
Red.
Called. It's like the new Pixar movie that they released on Disney+. It takes place in Toronto. That's the interesting thing about it. Like, that's what drew
for
me to
us.
it. Yeah, because we're Canadian.
I mean, I'm not.
I don't know if you can do... Well, one day.
One day, yeah. Anyhow, or X-Men, because we said we're gonna like
Oh yeah, we
watch the whole.
should rewatch the X-Men movies, and we also did see that new Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah, true.
It's like Ryan Reynolds and himself versus the world or whatever. I forget. I don't remember what it's called, but the Adam Project. Yeah, that's what it's called. Anyways, so yeah, well, who knows what it'll be? It'll be something. So
it's a mystery.
Follow us if you want to know.
Watch it.
You have to subscribe to be notified of when that happens. So
okay, this ending is like 5 minutes long.
That's true.
You're horrible at endings.
Okay, so what's your social media?
Louisa,
where can people find you, Louisa?
Louisa nearly 21.
Everywhere? Is that on
Instagram, and that's it.
You just do Instagram?
Just Instagram.
So I think I'm just at Winter Trooper, also on Instagram. And so, yeah, that's about it as well. I do have a Twitter,
and Crossing the Axis on Instagram.
Twitter off my phone, so I don't really use it right now.
And Crossing the Axis on Instagram, YouTube.
And our website.
Facebook website. It's all Crossing the Axis.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for listening, joining us on this little bit of a rambling podcast. But, yeah, thank you.
Okay, to the next one.
Peace.